emails. All right, while we're getting everybody connected here, I'm going to go ahead and send the email for Rick, so we make sure we get him his winnings from the week here. So we're going to send that to the support address here. That's the Sunday winner. His name is Rick, and his phone number is, you thought I was going to say it. Starts with a 402, I'll tell you that. This is a Nebraska winner this week. 1-5, I think an Iowa winner won last week, actually. Okay, kabam. All right, so welcome in, everybody. I get my comments up so I can see what everybody else wants to talk about, so it's not just me talking to myself, which I could totally do for an hour, but it's more fun when I have someone to talk to. Oh, boy. There's so much to talk about this week, guys. So much. I nearly got into trouble so many times on the radio show this week. All right, let's see. This is live. Come on, open. There we go. Good morning, Ronald. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning, Alan. Mary, good to have you. Everybody hear me okay? Volume good? Just want to make sure. I can actually check that here. Let me make sure I'm not too hot. Might be spiking a little bit, but as long as I'm not sounding too bad on your end, just let me know if it's too loud. I'll turn it down. All right. So yeah, we definitely had a smaller number of viewers at the beginning of the program. It filled out a little bit toward the end of the show. Some people were wondering on Facebook, why don't we have more people listening right now? And the short answer is because, once again, the Chocomatic 10,000, called the Nebraska Cornhuskers, had a 3-point loss to a ranked team in a game that they could have won, but didn't. But they played really well, and they looked really good against a team that was supposed to beat them by 3 and did. They played exactly as expected. Sad. But how about them Hawkeyes? Woo! That's the thing. Their team is doing really good. And, technically we have a store in Iowa, so maybe I need to make some yellow shirts for some of my staff, you know what I mean? Actually, lovely Kimberly was talking about doing that, making red shirts for the Nebraska stores and then yellow shirts for the Iowa stores. And I'm like, oh, we're officially at that point yet where there's no company team now because we have locations in too many places. It's like when you're a politician and you come into town and it's like, I love the Bulldogs. They're my favorite team. I love the Huskers. They're my favorite team when I'm in Nebraska. I don't always love the Huskers, but when I'm in Nebraska, Thank you, Winston. Good audio. All right. Coffee's ready to go. That's good. That's important, Randy. All right. Morning, Carolyn. Thanks for joining us. All right. So what are we going to talk about here? Well, we could start off with crypto. Speaking of crypto, the crypto call thing, if I don't just do it, I'm never going to do it. I keep talking about doing it, and I never do it. So literally, I think I'm just going to email everybody tonight and say, do you have time tomorrow morning? And then let's just do it. If it works good for everyone tomorrow morning, I'll create a Zoom call. I'll invite everybody. So if that's something you want in on, take a moment to drop me an email. I'm putting in my address here. I've got an email from, if you've already emailed me in the past, I have your email. But if it's something you want in on, go ahead and just drop me an email there and we'll get you on the Zoom call. Basically, the reason I want to do it on a morning is because in the morning I wake up and I take a look at my liquidity mining and see like what interest I've earned that day, and I withdraw all the interest. Then I turn it into tokens, and then I sell the tokens, and then I take the money from selling the tokens and I put that back into principal. So I'm just compounding my investment every day. It's not complex, but I have a month worth of data on a spreadsheet. This is stuff that, I'm having the guys redesign Schrock.com. I haven't used that blog in years, literally years. Our SEO guy was like, hey, Thor, it'd be great if we could post some stuff up there because it was a really great traffic lead for SchrockInnovations.com when you had a sale or something. And I was like, yeah, I just haven't done anything with it. We put everything into Schrock Innovations. Speaking of which, those of you who are purchasing safe upgrades and everything, I just want to let everybody know at 5:30 this afternoon, the Schrock Innovations website is going to go down, like Facebook down. Not because there's a problem. Well, technically, yes, because there's a problem. The problem is the website is too slow. It is too slow. Sometimes the page loads, especially when we're running a sale, can take 30, 45 seconds to load. It's way too slow. And so Alfonso, for the last 3 months, 4 months, has been working on a new, it's the same website, but redesigned in a new WordPress framework called Oxygen. If you're a coder, you'll know what that is. The Oxygen framework is lightning fast. It takes all the overhead out and literally runs everything bare bones. Very, very nice. So you might see some slight differences in spacing. There may be a couple typographical errors, apostrophes that get changed to weird ASCII symbols. We're going to sort through all of that. That's why we're doing it on Sunday, so that we have plenty of time to sort through it. But the website will load in a second rather than, or less than a second, rather than 45 seconds. And that's what we're really working on doing here. So if you are going to go purchase Safe Upgrade, I would encourage you to either do it earlier in the day or to wait until the website comes back up. Give us an hour. It probably won't take an hour, but give us an hour for the website to come back up at the end of the day, Sunday, like 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish, and then we'll be good to go again. We just didn't want to take the website offline while we were trying to operate, and the service centers in Nebraska close at 5 today on Sunday. All right, so there's that. So the crypto call is going to be tomorrow morning. I will send email, unless that doesn't work for somebody who wants to be on the call, and then we can make it like Tuesday morning or something. But literally, it's, guys, don't expect a slick production. Right? This is like, you're going to get regular Thor in my home office with kids in the background probably, because in the morning they're up and moving, and I will be processing. I'll show you on the screen how I do what I do. What I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what I'm learning, and I learn new things about liquidity mining every day. I'm still learning new stuff every day. In fact, one of the critical things that I've learned about liquidity mining is that you have to pay attention to the liquidity pool, the liquidity reward pool, because if the reward pool is large, if there's a lot of money in the reward pool, like a couple $100,000, for example, even if the APR, the amount they pay every day, is low right now, if that honeypot gets too big, they're going to increase the APR in the future. So I saw this going on with a coin called Baby Doge, which Baby Doge is never, whatever. It's a dog coin. It's trying to be like Dogecoin. It's Baby Doge. I don't know. But anyway, so I saw this with Baby Doge. There was a huge pot of money just sitting there, like $160,000 or something crazy. And I didn't have any Baby Doge. So I started using my compound money that I'm getting from selling my interest, right? I get that money and then I take it and reinvest it. So rather than putting it into some other token, I put it into Baby Doge. Well, over the course of a week, I built up $800 of liquidity with Baby Doge. And it's earning me about, well, yesterday it was like $7 in a day on a $500 investment. That's, I mean, again, it's hard to get excited for $7, right? You're risking $500 to make $7. That doesn't sound good. You're not risking the whole $500. We can get into all the details on that, but you're risking $500 to make $7 every day. So you're risking $500. Now, this assumes a lot of stuff stays equal, right? Like it's always going to have a big pot of money, which may not always be the case. But 365 days times 7, I'm risking $500 to make $2,555 in a year. Do that with your savings account. Now you take that and you scale that across 100 coins. Not all of them make $5. Some of them make nothing. Some of them make $2. Some of them make 70 cents. Yesterday I had a coin that made $65 on a $1,000 investment in one day. Now the next day it only made like 5, right? But it was just a weird bloop. I saw that they increased the APR that day and it went up to whatever, for whatever reason they needed liquidity, and I happened to be in the right place at the right time, and I got a $65 windfall on $700 or $800, $1,000 investment. That's what we're talking about doing with liquidity mining. So some of you, that's really interesting. Some of you could really care less. For this crypto call, guys, I'm only going to do it for like an hour or so because I do have to, like, it's Monday. I do have to actually get to work and do stuff. But when I do the call, it's not an intro to crypto call. So it's, I'm going to assume you have some basic knowledge, that you know what a Bitcoin is, that you know what an Ethereum is, that you know what a token is, that you know what an exchange is, that you understand that you can buy and sell these things and trade them. So of course I'll explain things if people ask questions. I just don't want to give people the impression that this is like hey, I've got $500 to invest. How can I make $65 a day in crypto and be rich forever? This isn't the call because there's a lot of risk in crypto, a lot of risk. My $800 of baby Doge, I don't even know how many. It's ridiculous. I've always wanted to have like 3.2 billion of something, of anything. Just I have 3.2 billion of something. I have like 3.2 billion baby Doge because that's what like $400 of baby Doge is equal to. So some of these coins are pure crap. Okay? And I'm not defending the coins. I'm not saying that you should buy these coins as an investment or anything like that. I'm literally saying there are people trading these coins, and if there's people trading them, there's a need for liquidity, and I want to provide the liquidity and get paid a fee. Part of the fee gets paid to you in baby Doge, which is funny. All right, so there's our crypto. This week's rally in crypto was phenomenal. Bitcoin touched $55,000. Ethereum hit $3,600. The biggest, weirdest winner of the week was SHIB. Now, I don't know if I've ever talked about SHIB on the Aftershock before. SHIB is a meme coin. It's basically, it's trying to be the next Dogecoin, okay? And I see ads for it on Facebook, and I'm like, if you're advertising your coin on Facebook, it's not gonna, no. That's not how you do this. It's not a marketing thing. People have asked me, Thor, should I buy SHIB? And I'm like, don't waste your money, right? Well, then I'm saying this thing, and it's like there's two schools of thought here. There's the don't waste your money thought. It's a poor investment. If you're looking for an investment, SHIB is not the future of crypto, okay? You don't want to buy into it. But then there's like the Wall Street bets way of thinking. If 1 million apes are going to buy SHIB anyway, and you have the chance to buy some SHIB now, before the 1 million apes buy it, should you buy SHIB now, let the 1 million apes buy it, and then sell the SHIB and make some money? Okay, you know what? I'll throw $150 at SHIB. So I threw $150 at SHIB. I got like, what was it, 20 million SHIB for $150. It was like, this is so stupid. Then I was like, I talked to somebody else, and he told me, have you ever actually looked at what SHIB is doing? You might actually like it. And I'm like, okay, let me go look at what this coin is actually about, because there's a million crap coins, and there's no time to look into all of them. So I look into SHIB. They're creating a decentralized exchange, which the reason that crypto didn't crash when China banned it is because governments can't ban crypto, or crypto exchanges for that matter. Now, they can stop you from turning crypto into fiat, from turning your crypto into dollars. They can stop that. Or turning your dollars into crypto, they can stop that. But they can't stop people who have crypto from using it. They can't stop people from buying it on a street corner by giving their cash to somebody who has crypto. They can't stop it. Why can't they stop it? Why can't they just shut down the exchange, right? Like Facebook got shut down. Why can't they do that? There are these things called decentralized exchanges, or DApps. These DApps, they're not run by a person or a company. It's a coin. It's kind of like Bitcoin. It's a self-running application where people who have Bitcoin, who want Ethereum, can get together and exchange their stuff. Yay! And there's no way to shut it down. There's no website to shut down. You can't shut the blockchain down because it's saved on people's computers. You can't shut it down. Unless you could control everything in the world, you cannot shut it down. So long story short, everybody laughed when China banned crypto in the crypto community, because this is only like the 4th time they banned it, literally the 4th time. They can't stop it. And somebody pointed out on Fox Business the other day, I'm just saying that if China's going to ban something, it might be a good investment. You might want to get in on that. If they're banning it because they're worried about capital flight leaving the country, you might want to get in on that. So anyway, crypto had an amazing week. SHIB, I ended up investing $300 total in SHIB over a week. I now have 30 million SHIB, and I have my $300 is $800. Who would have known that 2 days after I decided to throw some dollars at SHIB, that it would go up like 60%. Now it's worth 0.00000. Remember, there was a point over here. 0.000002. Right? So now you start playing those games in your head, like, what if it goes to 0.001? And I have 30 million of them. Ooh, This is how we got Dogecoin millionaires. They bought a ton of Dogecoin when it was nothing, and they just never sold it, right? So am I ever going to sell my 30 million SHIB? Not anytime soon. I'm not super eager to pull the money out of that. It was kind of a, it was Thor's play money for the week. You know, like when your wife gives you an allowance, it was kind of like that. Yeah. There was my fun money for the week. Put it into SHIB, and I'll hold on to it and see what happens with it. So okay, there's our crypto. Anyone who's not interested in crypto, you can tune back in now. I'll stop talking about it. All right, so what can we talk about that's interesting? Well, we have holiday specials coming up. Holiday special, we are going to launch the holiday special on the radio show on October 31st. Yes, Halloween is a Sunday. So we're going to launch it on October 31st for radio show listeners only. That means there's not going to be any emails going out. There's not going to be any Facebook posts about it. It's going to be radio listeners only on the 31st. It's one way that I can thank you guys for tuning in and being a part and doing these amazing things like creating Schrockville. I didn't create Schrockville. I didn't create the Aftershock. That was you guys. And so I can say thank you by at least giving everybody a heads up, because this year is going to be a little bit different with the holiday special. The quantities are going to be pretty restrictive. And so getting in early is going to be really important. I don't want to give away more than that right now, but getting in early is going to be important, which is why I want to give my radio listeners and you guys first bite at the apple. With that said, we do have a few slots left for testers. How does the holiday special tester program work? We know the computers work great, guys. We've already built them. We've already used them. We know they work. But we know they work and we're technicians. That's different from we know they work and customers love them. That's a different thing, right? So we want to get a few computers out, 3 of each, into people's hands before launch date, so that if we have to make a change to the hardware for some reason, we can make that change before we push a bunch of them out the door. And of course, if you're a tester and you purchase, because you purchase it for the regular price, you don't get a special discount because we're already selling them at cost. So you buy it, you just get it early, you get it before everybody else. And when you take it home and you use it, if there's a change that you say, you should do this, and we make the change, well, then we're going to change it for your hardware too. We'll go back and change your computer too. So it's not like you're stuck with the demo model and everybody else got a better computer than me. It's not like that. But we do need one more laptop tester, and we need all 3 desktop testers. The reason the forgive me, but you may be on a list, and I'm going to check on this on Monday. I know Marissa in Papillion is maintaining a list of people, and I think Paula in Omaha is too, of people who want to be notified when the holiday special is available, which is different than being a tester, because being a tester, we want your feedback. We may ask you to come on the radio, or at least give us a statement to read on the radio if you're not inclined to call in. Calling in is obviously preferred, though, because one of the things, this is called social proof in marketing, but one of the things that helps other people decide whether or not a product is a good product is having other people voice their support for a product. So that's why you read reviews, right? It's social proof. If there's 500 reviews and there are 4.5 stars, chances are the product's pretty good. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. So, for example, my wife went on Facebook to buy a pillowcase. She needed a special pillowcase that's easy on your hair or something like that. It's a girl thing, whatever. I was listening, dear. I know. I just didn't share it with everybody, right? And so she was looking for this pillowcase, and while she was on Facebook, she's like, she saw pillows, and it never occurred to her to buy a pillow on Facebook. Every time we go to the store, we're kind of looking at the pillows, like, we know we need new pillows, but we just haven't pulled the trigger. Maybe we should call Mike Lindell and buy a MyPillow. I don't know. But anyway, so we're waiting for the right moment to buy a pillow, I guess, and she noticed there were pillows on Amazon. So she started looking at the pillows, right? And she found one that looked like a really good pillow. She's like, this is crazy. And the reviews, there was like 7,000 reviews, 4.5 stars, 5 stars. She's like, everybody loves this pillow, right? So then she reads the reviews, and it turns out everybody loved the pillow up to about 6 months ago. Best pillow ever, 5 stars everywhere. 6 months ago, something happened. People started getting pillows that were literally moldy. Somebody got a pillow that literally had a bug on the pillow in the bag that they could not identify, like a China bug. Like, this isn't a native bug from the United States. Like, what is this bug? Yeah. So I don't know if they have a problem in their supply chain and like they got, maybe the cargo, maybe this is one of those cargo containers that fell off the ship and they fished it back up on the boat. I don't know what happened, but the pillows were moldy. Yeah, nobody wants to buy a moldy pillow. Kim's like, yeah, probably not buying a pillow on Facebook. Right, I keep saying Facebook, on Amazon. Probably not buying it on Amazon. Shouldn't probably buy it on Facebook either, but whatever. So the whole radio show, as I mentioned, I was trying to stay out of trouble. The whole radio show, I was literally like, please, for the love of all that's holy, let somebody named Brandon call the radio show so that I can say, and let's go back to those phones. Let's go, Brandon. Welcome to the program. How can I help you? Oh my gosh. Have you guys seen the memes on this and the stuff that's going on with Let's Go, Brandon? Okay. So I know some of you here are we serve people on all sides of the spectrum, right? But as Larry the Cable Guy would say, I don't care who you are, there's funny. All right? Somebody tricked a Southwest Airlines flight attendant or somebody, I don't know, in the airport to page Let's Go Brandon. So I'm trying to figure out how do they do this. So it was like somebody was late for their gate. Brandon, let's go, Brandon. Your flight, please report. Let's go, Brandon. Please report to gate 20. Your flight is ready to leave. Let's go, Brandon. And it was hilarious. Somebody, of course, recorded it on their phone. I don't know why they were recording, but maybe they were recording because they tricked the lady into saying that. But it was like, oh my gosh. There were at the Trump rally outside in Des Moines yesterday, as well as over some of the football stadiums. There were planes pulling banners that said "Let's go, Brandon." Now, you might wonder if you're not up on what the Let's Go Brandon movement is, the LBJ or LGB movement. Yes, the LGB movement. If you're not up on that, here's what happened. There was a NASCAR race, and a guy won the race, and his name was Brandon. And so he is being interviewed by an ESPN reporter or some reporter, probably ESPN. And in the background, during the live shot, the entire NASCAR stadium starts chanting F Joe Biden, which is a thing. Like if you Google it or look for the hashtag FJB, you'll see it's a thing in like just about every college football stadium that gets chanted every game. Part of it is because it started when Fauci said that we shouldn't be gathering for football games, and then basically they all started chanting it. And now it's kind of catching on as like a cultural phenomenon thing. And there's memes. Memes that I can't share them all here because some of them are a little risque. Like, wow, everybody wants to, and Obama's like, Joe, that's not what they mean. It's like, so from that all the way back to things that are far worse. But so basically this guy's name is Brandon and the whole stadium starts chanting FJB. And the reporter, I don't know, okay, she is either super flippin' smart, like a super intelligent ESPN reporter, and she is going to spin this on live TV and gaslight everybody watching while the chant is going on in the background. She's interviewing Brandon. How does it feel about your big win? Listen to that crowd. They're cheering for you. Don't you hear it? Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. No, it wasn't Let's Go, Brandon. Joe Biden. That's what it was. Yeah, you could clearly hear it. It was about as clear as a stadium chant can be. But she said, no, they're saying, let's go, Brandon. And so literally it's become like a meme now of media gaslighting people who are clearly watching what's going on in front of them, but being told that that's not really happening. You don't see that. That's not there. And it's really funny. It's really funny that, I'll go into a video game. I'll play in a video game and somebody does a great job and I'll say, let's go, Brandon. And once in a while you'll have somebody like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. And other people are like, who is Brandon? I'm like, just search for it. Just search for Let's Go, Brandon. You'll find it. So anyway, it was pretty funny. So the Let's Go Brandon movement, if you hear people talking about Let's Go Brandon, or you see bumper stickers that say or shirts that say Let's Go Brandon, it's not like a cancer survivor thing or, some guy climbing Mount Everest. It's literally people making a political statement. So There you go. There's Let's Go Brandon red hats now, like a MAGA hat, but it says Let's Go Brandon on it. So yeah, it's Let's Go Brandon. I was really hoping somebody Brandon would call so I could just say that and be part of the meme, but no, we didn't have any Brandons that called. We had 2 Steves, but no Brandons. And unfortunately, no one named Steve has ever been gaslighted after a NASCAR race in front of a live crowd. All right, let's go over here real quick and double check what everyone's talking about to make sure I'm not ignoring comments and questions. Coffee's ready. That's good. All right, Thor, if you talk about Bitcoin today, what would happen if someone buys the minimum amount of Bitcoin and then just lets it sit there? Okay, first of all, the only minimum amount of Bitcoin is whatever wherever you're buying it says the minimum is. So if you go to Coinbase, you could buy, I've never tried to buy like a penny's worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to try to do that right now. I'm going to see what happens if I go to Coinbase and I say Bitcoin. I'm going to trade. I'm going to go Bitcoin. We're loading. Okay. I'm going to click trade. I'm going to say buy Bitcoin with cash. It's going to say one-time purchase 0.01. 1 penny of Bitcoin. The minimum order is $1.99 on Coinbase. Okay, so your minimum order is $2. You can buy $2 worth of Bitcoin. And if you just let it sit in your Coinbase wallet, the exact same thing happens to it as if you went out and took $2 and stuck them in a piggy bank and put it on a shelf. Exact same thing. It just sits there forever until somebody takes it out of the piggy bank and does something with it. So yeah, it doesn't expire. It doesn't go bad. It's never going to be taken away. Will the value of your $2 of Bitcoin change? Well, yeah, it'll change over time. Plan B is those of you familiar with crypto know who Plan B is. But I started talking about this at the shop. And one of my guys looked at me and they're like the abortion pill? And I'm like, no, not that Plan B. This is a different Plan B. Plan B is like a crypto analyst company. And they post on Twitter under the handle Plan B. Or it might just be a guy. I don't know. But what they've done is they've created a model called the stock to flow model. They created this model many years ago. It has been historically accurate throughout Bitcoin's entire existence. In the month of August, they said Bitcoin was going to end at 47,000, and it did. Then they said in the month of September it was going to end at 43,000, which it did. The end of October, they're saying it's going to be at 65,000. Well, we're right now at 55, up from 43. So 65 seems completely reasonable. At the end of November, they say it's going to be 85. And at the end of December, it will be between 90 and 135. So we're literally talking about Bitcoin doubling in the next 3-month period. So if you took your $2 and you put it in the piggy bank, it's not going to double on its own. It's actually going to shrink because of inflation. Now, Bitcoin is going to probably double at some point in the future. I mean, it's almost guaranteed it's going to double at some point in the future. The question is, it's not going to be a straight line. So you're going to have moments where you've lost $1 if you measure your outcome in dollars, and moments when you gain $1 if you measure your outcome in dollars. Part of the thing that really bends people's brains when it comes to crypto is to not think about the dollars, which sounds like a total sham, like invest in my product, but don't think about the dollars. Just think about the potential. What I mean here is think about growing the number of coins you have as opposed to growing the number of dollars you have. Because the dollar is moving, the dollar is getting stronger or weaker, just like crypto is getting stronger or weaker. Less volatile. The dollar is far less volatile. Give you that. But what we do know for certain is that the mechanism set up to run the dollar is trying to achieve a minimum of 2% annual inflation, which means every year, compounding annually, your dollar becomes worth 2% less. Now, 2% doesn't sound like a lot. If I said you have a parking ticket and it's 2% of your salary today, let me get the change out of my cup holder. Come on. So 2% doesn't sound like a lot, right? But compounded annually over a 10 or 30-year period, it is a massive taxation on your income. You literally can't save because you can't get 2% in a savings account. And they're shooting for 2%, and we all know inflation is well over 2% right now. And yes, right now the inflation is probably higher than it will be in the future. They've stopped calling it transitory. Now it's not transitory anymore. The prices are not going to go back down. They're going to stay. And this is what we said from the beginning. This is what Ernie Goss said when he had him on. They're going to, why, if you're a business and you're getting away with charging a higher price, why on earth would you lower the price if there's no competitive reason to lower the price? You wouldn't. You would just keep charging the higher price because people are willing to pay it and everybody else is, so why not? Unless you're trying to take market share, then you do charge a lower price. But that doesn't happen in gas. That doesn't happen in food. Once they shrink the amount of food they put in the box, they don't give you bonus food from, sometimes you'll see like 20% bonus on the top of the box. I will give you more for your money. And that's a marketing ploy. It works, especially if they actually give you more for your money. Have you noticed that the chips have less chips in the bag? I have. Have you tried to buy a bag of Tostitos anywhere in Omaha? Yeah, especially the lime ones. The hint of lime Tostitos. I don't know what's going on with Frito-Lay. Take a look down the chip aisle. Take a look down any aisle. I went to my local Hy-Vee. And I was like, yeah, I'm kind of bummed that I can't get my 3-year-old son loves those hint of lime Tostitos. He's a Hispanic kid. It's a completely racist thing to give him hint of lime Tostitos, but he loves them. And so I get them for him. And I like them too. They're pretty good. So I go down the aisle. They don't have any. And I'm like, So I went to Family Fair. They didn't have any. I went to little neighborhood Walmart. They didn't have any. I went to another Family Fair. I went to 3 different grocery stores and I found 2 bags of Tostitos. Welcome to the world. So I go down the aisles at Hy-Vee. And this is Papillion Hy-Vee at Shadow Lake. And I decided I'm going to play a game with myself. I'm going to look down each aisle and see if I can spot a hole in the shelf. From walking down the main aisle, looking left, and is there a hole? Hole. Every single aisle, I could spot multiple holes, multiple open spaces where something was supposed to be and it wasn't there. And it was then that it hit me. That's somebody's Tostitos. That's somebody's IBC Diet Root Beer. Yes, I still can't get Diet IBC Root Beer anywhere. I don't know if they don't make it or what. They stopped making it during the pandemic. My wife and I had a wonderful habit. We'd sit down, we'd watch a show at the end of the day. We'd each enjoy a Diet IBC Root Beer because the regular stuff is just too sweet. I can't do it. It's not a calorie thing. It's just too sweet. We drink a Diet IBC Root Beer and then we go to bed. Well, we haven't been able to do Diet IBC Root Beer for like a year now because they just don't make it. We can't find it anywhere. So, wow, when are we going to go back to normal? And yesterday it hits me. This pandemic is a 9/11 style event. When did we go back to normal after 9/11? My wife pointed out to me, the lovely Kimberly, said, did you know that the TSA was supposed to expire this year? I had no idea that was going away. Oh, sweet love, that would be amazing. Airlines don't want to see the TSA go away. The airlines had to provide that security before. It was private industry that had to do it. Now the government does it. The union and the taxpayers and everything else. So I doubt that it's actually going to get, I wonder if it, does it, I got to look into this. Does it actually go away or does it have to be like, are they going to extend it? Now that the Patriot Act is being used to target parents who complain to school boards, are they going to reauthorize that? When did life go back to normal after 9/11? It didn't. We just got used to it and we accepted it. We accepted that you couldn't walk. Remember before 9/11 when grandma was flying down to Arizona for the winter, which my grandmother did, you could walk all the way to the terminal and wave at her plane out the window when you're a little kid. And you can't do that now. Security. That never went back to normal. None of it did. Oh my gosh. This, what we're in right now, is normal now. And it's going to stay that way for a long time. Inflation is here. Stagflation is here. And it's going to stay that way for a long time. I said something the other week about this, guys, that I had a really wobbly feeling about the stock market. And again, I'm not an investment broker. I'm not a guy that you should follow his trades. That's why I don't trade crypto. That's why I love liquidity mining. I don't have to trade it. It takes all the emotion out of it. I can just hold it, which I'm good at doing. I'm good at holding things. Yay! So if you're holding a lot of stocks, now I have a retirement account. I'm not doing anything. I'm not trying to trade it. I'm not trying to trade my fear here. I'm looking at a lot of charts, guys, that just say systemically something is really not right. And we could be in for like some 9/11 event in financials. China's not bailing the world out this time. China's in deep, deep, deep trouble. Like, no one's covering it in the news. I cannot believe it. You need to read up on what's happening economically in China around not just Evergrande, but all the other property developers. Property prices in China fell 30% last month. 60% of the people in China have property as their main source of retirement funds or income or retirement planning. They lost 30% of their money last month. That was before Evergrande. So it looks like the declining property prices are actually what caused Evergrande's default. If that's true, if there's something systemically wrong in the Chinese property market, okay, so everyone said, the Evergrande is not a Lehman moment because Evergrande was not leveraged like Lehman was, blah, 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 blah. And I agreed with it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. In fact, I said that on the Aftershock. It's not, somebody asked me, is it a Lehman moment? I'm like, nah, it's not a Lehman moment. But the camera's too focused. We're looking at the tree. Look at the forest. You zoom out and you realize the entire Chinese property sector is in trouble. And what's that levered at? Only $62 trillion. $62 trillion of leverage. That makes Lehman look like a joke. That's Lehman on a Sunday picnic with my good friend Lehman and his brother. This has only hurt skin and knee. It won't be that bad. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Now, will that flow over into America? Will we see a cascading wave of trouble? Honestly, it's probably, again, God works for all good things, right? So Donald Trump starts decoupling from China. President Xi starts clamping down on free enterprise and businesses, and all of a sudden he's talking about shared prosperity and making sure that the people who are rich aren't too rich and that other people are able to get some of that money from them. We're all like, what's happening? He's destroying his private sector. Why? He's staging for class warfare. He knows what's coming. It's going to be bad. People are going to be upset. He wants them to be upset at the rich people and not the government. He wants them to be upset at the capitalists and not the communists. That's what he's doing. It makes so much sense now. Oh my gosh. So China's in deep trouble. They are not coming to the rescue this year. Now, or this time. America can literally write its own debt. So our markets and everything will probably sail through it relatively well. Think Asian financial crisis, where everything in Asia was like, ah! And in America, everybody was like, stay away from that. And there were some sectors that got hit, but it was not a systemic problem, right? The problem for the rest of the world, though, the Chinese credit impulse is a leading indicator for how all of their economies are going to do in Europe. And for the first time in a very long time, Chinese credit impulse is negative. I wouldn't be surprised if we're in a recession right now. We just don't know it yet. Let's go, Brandon! So anyway, the stock market is wobbly. Wobbly. Crypto is risky as all get out. How does this impact crypto? I heard a lot of references this week about Bitcoin being the new gold. Where people, inflation's a problem, and usually gold goes up in value during an inflationary period, but gold has not been performing. So now the story from, on all the gold bug sites, I do read them, is that I do have some gold guys. Come on, I'm not totally crypto focused. Is that gold has such a runway to run here. This is amazing. Like the stage is set. But what happens if nobody comes to dinner? Because people on Wall Street, they can buy the gold ETF, but there's about to be a Bitcoin ETF. And when that happens, if you can buy an asset that's going to potentially double by the end of the year, is gold going to double to $4,000 by the end of the year? I don't think even gold bugs would tell you that that's even possible. But I can point out charts that are historically accurate that will show you that Bitcoin is probably going to double by the end of the year. Especially if you consider it doubling over its low point of the year, but double it from where it is now by the end of the year. Very likely. Wow. Again, I could be wrong. I'm a computer guy. I don't know what I know. But nevertheless, I don't even know what got me on that angle. I read a comment. Oh, Bitcoin today. Aaron asked me, what happens if you buy $2 in Bitcoin and leave it in your wallet? Well, then you have $2 of Bitcoin in your wallet. And if Bitcoin doubles, you have 4. And if Bitcoin falls in half, you have 1. If you want to measure it in dollars. Excuse me. But what you need to remember is, if you, let's just say for the sake of discussion, you buy 0.001 Bitcoin, you will always have 0.001 Bitcoin in your wallet. Now, what somebody says that Bitcoin is worth will change over time. If you measure in dollars, if you measure in yen, if you measure in euros, it'll change. Canadian dollars, it'll change. But you will always have 0.001 Bitcoin. Always. That's why it's working so well for El Salvador. Millions of people have already made a transaction using El Salvador's Bitcoin, official government Bitcoin wallet. The reason this is important is South American countries are known for inflationary tendencies. And they are literally in the process here of setting up what is in essence a gold standard using Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin's price drops, the government of El Salvador buys Bitcoin. And if the price of Bitcoin were to double, anyone in El Salvador that holds Bitcoin in their government wallet suddenly has double the buying power than they had the day before. Now the same thing applies to the flip side. If it goes to 0 or if it falls in half, you lose some of your buying power, right? So it's good to be diversified, but for everyday transactions, if you're going to buy some Bitcoin and then go to the grocery store, the Bitcoin is not going to lose half its value usually in a 5-minute period, or a 10-minute or in an afternoon. There have been times like the pandemic where it dropped like a freaking rock. That's not normal. That doesn't usually happen. And usually if you're patient, it'll come back. It's a little hard to be patient if your stomach's empty and you're trying to buy food at the grocery store, though. All right. Hello, Mitch. Tea is in my cup, Dean says. All right. Good morning. It seems like most people will not admit how much they use Facebook. Okay. So here's a funny thing about Facebook, guys. I want to like my neighbors. I want to get along with my neighbors. I don't want to feel animosity, especially politically driven animosity. Like there's enough of that in political season. Like I don't put a sign in my yard because I don't want to tick off my neighbors. They don't put signs in their yard. Who knows? We all think we know who each other is supporting, and we all just keep it that way because everybody thinks that everybody's supporting their guy. And that way we can all be nice neighbors and get along because not everything in life needs to be a political fight, right? On Facebook, one of my neighbors started, and she is in the medical industry, was talking about vaccinations and how everyone should get vaccinated. And I'm like, okay, that's her opinion. But then she quotes stuff that is obviously gaslightingly not true to support her point. And there's just that part of me. I can keep the filters engaged for so long, and then it just comes out, right? And it just came out. I was like, cite me one study. Cite me one. Oh, wait, you can't, because there aren't any. Because nobody knows. Because it's untested. Because this is stupid. You take the vaccine to protect the people who can't get vaccinated, yet you can get and spread COVID when you have the vaccine. Gaslighting. 70% of the people in the hospital are vaccinated. Gaslighting. It's all gaslighting. Oh my God. It just came out just like that. And then her friends jumped in. She was classy. She didn't say anything back. And her friends jumped in and were like, me, these idiots like this, and they tore me down. I'm like, okay, Lesson learned. I just deleted the comment. I'm like, you know what? I waved at her last time I saw her outside when she was gardening. I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm sorry. Sorry I was a jerk. So I'm like, you know what? Facebook is just getting me in trouble. So I have to keep the Facebook business app on my phone because, I talk to you guys here. So I want to make sure I keep that channel of communication open. But I don't necessarily need to post personally to Facebook. But yet I found myself opening the app habitually. Every time I reach the end of the internet, I read all the news I normally read. I've hit the end of the internet. My email is checked. My crypto is checked. Everything is good. What's going on Facebook? And then I fall down the rabbit hole. So I deleted it from my home screen. I didn't delete it from my phone, but I deleted it from my home screen. My use of Facebook, because now I have to think before I use Facebook. That one step of just deleting the icon from my home screen, the first screen on my phone that lights up. Now I have to look for it. I have to go through my icons if I want to find it, because I don't know exactly where it's at. Find it. While I'm like, I have to go find it. Is there anything on there? Am I going to Facebook to actually do anything? Is there a good let's go Brandon meme I'm going to share or something? No, I'm not going to share anything. You know what? I don't even know why I was going to open that. Let's find something else to do. And literally my use of Facebook has dropped off the planet. Just down in the toilet. Which, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's nice to be on Facebook because people will post questions on Facebook about their computers and I can respond to them. We have people in the community that recommend us to other people on Facebook. So I don't, I want to be able to like them and thank them for doing that. And it shows up in my feed when people do that. Ironically, it shows up in my personal feed and not the business feed. So I have to look at that. So once in a while, I do need to open Facebook to take a look at, at the feed. But when you can look at your feed and you have to scroll multiple times to get through all the things that you've missed, that means you're doing Facebook right. Less eyeballs. That's the only way you can win with social media. Less eyeballs. So yes, they're going to get my eyeballs still from time to time, and hopefully yours on the weekends here. But I don't have to give them multiple sessions per day. I could give them a couple sessions per week. And that's what? I don't know. I was probably opening Facebook 6 times a day on my phone. So to go from 6 times a day to, well, if you count the radio show, let's just say 3 times in a week. Yeah, that's if everybody did that, that's a decline that would be noticed. Big time. All right, let's see. Good morning. The question has probably been asked multiple times, but I haven't been able to listen for a couple of weeks. I have a 2-year-old Ultimate Upgrade laptop. Can it be fixed to run Windows 11? I love how you put fixed in quotes. The 2-year-old Ultimate Upgrade laptop is not compatible because it has an A4 or an A6 processor. Any of the A series processors are not compatible with Windows 11. With that said, there are registry hacks that can be implemented to get you to run Windows 11 that will bypass all the security that Windows 11 gives you, so it'll be just like Windows 10 under the hood, but it'll look like Windows 11. We are not encouraging our customers to do that because we don't know what's going to happen when they push out the next feature upgrades. So you might be putting a 2-year lifespan on your computer and you can only go back to Windows 10 for 30 days. So once you do this a year from now, you can't go back, and then all of a sudden you find out you can't get security updates because you're not compatible, and therefore you just have to go buy a new computer. So whereas if you would have just stayed on Windows 10, you could use the computer through 2025. So we're at this point, if your computer hardware is not compatible, which is different than the software or the settings being incompatible. If you have a processor that is 7th generation Intel or older, or any AMD processor that starts with the letter A or X, you're not compatible. Okay? With that said, you can use the registry hacks if you want. We're just not recommending. We're not doing it by default or recommending it to people. The other thing is sit tight for this 2.1H2 update if you're thinking about doing the hacks, because there's a lot of people that believe that Microsoft may unify the interfaces. So you may get all the pretty Windows 11 stuff in 2.1H2 that Windows 11 users get. So sit tight for that. I would wait till after the feature upgrade. Excuse me. Voice is starting to go, guys. I would wait till after the feature upgrade before you do that. All right, let's see. Billy says, I bought $500 in crypto. How long should I hold on before I sell it? About as long as a piece of string. Depends what your objective is, Billy. Is your objective to become ridiculously wealthy in crypto? Well, then you're going to have to hold that 500 for quite a while. If your objective is to make a good return on your investment as measured in US dollars, you have to define what a good return is for you. Is a good return 10%? Is a good return doubling your money? Like, what's a good return? You can employ all kinds of principles, like the Buffett principle, where you have $500 of capital invested. Once your crypto is worth $1,000, you should sell half of it to get your capital back, and then hang on to the other half of the crypto as an investment, and then go invest in your $500 in the next thing. There's all kinds of different ways you can do it, but here's what I would tell you. The important thing to remember in crypto is you have to know yourself really well. So I know that I can't trade crypto because I'm way too impatient, I'm way too emotional, and I read a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of opinions out there. And over time, you can start to sift through whose opinions tend to be accurate more often than not. But in the heat of the moment, for example, I was reading an article yesterday about a new project that's going to be started by a very prominent company that may use ICP, the Internet Computer Protocol token, in order to implement its results. Basically, ICP is a token that you trade for computing time, like a cloud. ICP is really cheap right now, very cheap. So if I go buy ICP now and hold on to it for a couple of years, it could be worth a lot more. Do I have any ICP in my liquidity mining? I do not. Is it paying a yield? It is not. Should I invest in ICP? Well, I know myself. What is my objective? Now, investing $150 in ICP is not going to light my fire, right? So I invested $150 in SHIB because I could have 30 million of them, right? If it goes to a penny, I've got $3 million. Okay? If Bitcoin doubles and this money doubles, I'll have $600. Woohoo! You know, it's like, it's not going to light my fire. But if whatever they're trying to do with this SHIB coin actually catches somehow, and I've got 30 million of them, it doesn't have to do a lot for me to make a lot of money. So that's like buying a lottery ticket in the crypto world. Literally, that's the equivalent of a lottery ticket. So is my overall financial objective to buy a lot of lottery tickets and hope that one of them hits? If that's the case, then you should buy ICP, you know? Is my objective to try to create a structure in which I can get measurable, specific returns over time and grow not only the number of coins in my portfolio that I have, but also grow the US dollar equivalent of those coins, because I want to buy a ridiculously large house. That's my goal. That's what I want to do for my family. We have some needs coming up. I want to buy a ridiculously large house. What is ridiculously large? I want to buy a 5,000 square foot house minimum. Why? I've got 3 kids, one of them special needs. She's loud. She could use her own wing sometimes. You know, we've got family members that might move in with us in the coming years. We want some additional space for that. We have a very large house now. We have a 4,000 square foot house now, one of the largest houses that Hearthstone made. But it's really configured in such a way that's not conducive to the space. Like, the space could have been utilized more efficiently, I believe. So anyway, long story short, I want to buy a house. Now, you go online and look at houses right now. How much is a 5,000 square foot house? Cheap ones are about 700,000. Really nice ones that are way bigger than that are like $2 million. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I want to get to $2 million in crypto. Starting from my $14,000 investment, go. Am I going to do that in a day? No. Am I going to do that buying SHIB? No. Am I going to do that with something that pays me a regular return that I can compound daily and leverage the power of compounding interest with a 1,000% APR in my favor? It may not last forever, but while it's lasting, you better bet I'm going to do it. I mean, that's pretty, and it compounds daily, maybe every other day, just depends on how much interest you're pulling. That's pretty powerful stuff. So it depends what your goal is, Billy. If your goal is to get your $500 back and still have some crypto, then I would sell at 1,000. If keep in mind you're going to have a tax liability when you sell. You made $500. You're going to have to pay 30% of that to the governments. So make sure then you have to tax plan. So if you want to make 500, you have to wait till you're at like 1,050. You got to plan for that, right? So anyway, take that into consideration. There is tax on crypto gains, just like there is on any other investment gain. All righty, let's see. Late but on board. Well, welcome aboard, Richard. You didn't miss much. Let's go, Brandon. Aaron, I don't have the money for a new computer right now. Yeah, I get that. And we haven't raised the prices yet, but we're going to hold out as long as we can. Is Secure Updater down? I had Chris and Lincoln fix a licensing issue. I can't log in with one of my computers. It says invalid password. I'm using the standard Secure Updater password. No, it should be a valid password. So I would suggest you can go to secureupdater.com and you can reset your password there. Just use the password reset function. The password for logging into the Secure Updater website is the same password that you use in your computer for Secure Updater. Secure Updater is not down. Mine's open right now and logged in just fine. I'm green and good to go. The other thing is check for a typo in your email address. That's usually the case when this happens. Invalid password because your email address is wrong and there's no account there. We can't always just tell you there's no account. Mark, what is the best budget headset microphone for Zoom calls? Boo, I don't know. There are tons of gaming headsets out there you can get for $30 that would do the job. I have you're going to see me on the Zoom call. I'll have a microphone like this, and I'll have a webcam, and I'll be talking. And that's pretty much how I'm going to do it. And the funny thing is I have a microphone here, but it's a lot easier for me just to use the microphone and the webcam. So sometimes the microphone will be here, but it's kind of like how Larry King had a microphone on his desk all the time, but he never like talked in it. It was just, I used to be a radio guy. That's my old microphone. Yes, this is Larry. Caller. Gave him something to look at when he was talking to callers. But, whatever. So, yeah, any $30 cheap headset would work fine. Any Walmart special. Quick question. I hope this makes sense to you. If I use BlockFi and I own Bitcoin, am I the only one who owns that coin? Basically, is there a chance that BlockFi is selling the same coin to more than one person? Okay. Ronald, I think I get what you're saying here. So, is it a fractional reserve system, number one? And is there rehypothecation going on? So, with crypto, if you have the coins in a personal wallet on your computer, you have your coins. That is the equivalent of you having a safe in the basement with your stacked up gold and silver stacked in the safe. That's how you do it. Now, as soon as you transfer those coins to any other entity, including an online wallet like BlockFi or Coinbase, you no longer have possession of those coins. You've, in essence, deposited them with a financial institution. If that financial institution should go bankrupt, you will lose all of your money. All of your coins are gone. If there's a hack and your money gets stolen, you want to make sure they're insured for that because they are not FDIC insured. That's for sure. It's very much the Wild West in crypto. So not only do you want to think about, like with liquidity mining, if I want to get to $2 million and I start with 14,000, at some point along the way, I'm going to have $1 million in Gate.io. Do I trust Gate.io with $1 million of my money? If I want to get to 2 million, I don't have a lot of choice, do I? But dang, that's a big ask, right? So when you transfer your stuff to BlockFi, BlockFi makes money by lending people money and holding on to their Bitcoin as collateral. So BlockFi makes money because let's say I made a ton of money trading crypto, right? But I didn't think about the taxes and all the tax implications doing that. So I have all these paper profits that I made on paper, but all my money is wrapped up into crypto. And worse yet, the price of crypto just dropped $10,000. So I'm going to have to sell some crypto to pay my taxes, but I'm going to have to sell it at a huge loss because the price dipped and I know it's going to go back up. I just have to be patient. But I can't be patient because the government's not patient. You can turn to places like BlockFi who will say, we'll give you a loan for the $30,000 you need to pay your taxes, and you're going to give us $50,000 or $60,000 worth of Bitcoin to hold as collateral on your loan. Then, as you repay your loan, once your loan is repaid in full, there's an interest rate on the loan, just like any other loan. It's like 9%. As you repay the loan, once it's repaid, you get your collateral back, you get your Bitcoin back. So it gives people a way to raise emergency money when they need to raise it using their crypto as collateral. Now, the requirements for collateral can be anywhere up to 100%. So if you want to borrow $30,000, you have to give us $30,000 of Bitcoin. It can be less than that. The more you're willing to put up, the lower your interest rate is because there's less risk to BlockFi. So then BlockFi turns around and collects that interest from the loans they're generating and pays that interest out to people who deposit crypto on their platform. When you deposit the crypto on the platform, does BlockFi trade your Bitcoin to make money for themselves? Possibly. Are they insured? Probably, yeah. They pretty much have to be. They want to be regulated. They want to be regulated as a bank. So they're probably operating as a bank. BlockFi is one of the ones that I trust. Their interest has been dwindling lately. It's been a little frustrating to watch it go down, especially if you have, excuse me, if you have more than just a tiny bit of Bitcoin in there. You really don't get a lot of interest at all. The majority of my BlockFi interest comes from stablecoin, ironically. But then if you're in stablecoin and Bitcoin doubles, well, your stablecoin doesn't double because it's stable. It's $1. It's still $1, but everything else doubled. So did you lose half by being unstable? It's a tricky thing to think about. So they're not rehypothecating, though. You can't do that with Bitcoin. A Bitcoin is a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin. They can't, it's not like with China where they can take a warehouse full of copper and pledge it as collateral on 3 different loans. BlockFi is not pledging collateral. They're collecting collateral from people and holding on to it, and then basically giving it back when the loan is paid in full. The guy recorded the "Let's Go Brandon" on purpose. At the end, he walks over and looks at the camera and says, "Let's go Brandon." Yeah, I'm wondering if that guy in the airport actually was the one that made them page "Let's Go Brandon," and that's why he was recording it. Because I'm like, why would you be just recording empty space in an airport? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Joe Biden thinks everyone loves him. I saw a meme like that. It was like Joe Biden talking to Barack Obama. Everybody loves me. And then Obama's like, that's not what F. Joe Biden means. Thanks for the answer about Bitcoin. I was wondering how it would happen if I bought a small amount, if it would grow on its own. It doesn't actually grow it doesn't gain interest, but you can go and purchase Bitcoin and deposit it at BlockFi where it will earn interest and grow on its own. And actually, BlockFi is really good for small amounts of Bitcoin, for tiny amounts like this. The other problem, though, with tiny amounts of Bitcoin, I would encourage you to go directly to BlockFi in this case. Normally, I say I buy my coins at Coinbase, and then I move them where I want to move them. But in this case, you're buying such a small amount of crypto that the fees to move the crypto could be up to 50% of the amount you bought. So you're not going to want to move it once you buy it because it'll be too expensive. So it could cost you $1 to move $2 in crypto. This is why people don't buy cups of coffee with Bitcoin. It's too expensive. That's why El Salvador needed a special government wallet for everyone to use, so that when they're trading their Bitcoin, they don't have to pay these exorbitant fees. So I would recommend that you go directly to BlockFi.com. And this is the thing, I don't have my links ready. I could get a $40 affiliate commission when she puts $100 in her account. Like, oh my gosh. I should get all my links together. Have your stuff together, Thor. But basically, go to BlockFi and open an account there. Tie your bank account to your BlockFi account and buy your crypto at BlockFi. And then just deposit it there and leave it. And it will grow with interest. It'll grow with interest over time. The interest rate on under 0.01 Bitcoin is like 7%, I think. 7%, but it's paid in Bitcoin. It's not 7% of the US dollar value of Bitcoin. It's 7% of 0.01 Bitcoin, compounding monthly. So if Bitcoin goes to $1 million a coin, you're getting 7% of $100,000 every month. Does that make sense? All righty, let's see here. Hello from Grand Island. Hello, Bill. Breyer's ice cream is 25 cents, 25 less product, but it costs the same. Oh, 25% less product. They shrunk the containers. It's happening in everything. Chips, it's happening with snack crackers, cookies, especially chocolate. Candy bars have had 25% product shrinkage over the last 5 years, not to count what's happening this year. That's why the regular size candy bars look so small. It's like, this is like 2 fun size bars stuck together, but it's like $1.50. What's going on here? It's inflation. I only make Facebook comments about things such as a boat, etc. I do not comment on political statements at all. Yeah, that's pretty much how you got to be anymore, because otherwise Facebook figures you out. Speaking of eyeballs, look at how many people in the room. 61. Yeah, a little lower than normal. I don't know how much it was back then, but things to consider. Do you need the money? Yeah, do you think Bitcoin's? Yeah, exactly, Ron. That's exactly right. When you're thinking about buying crypto and when you should sell it, your objectives need to be top of the mind. i7, 8th gen, Windows 11, okay, right? Yes, Mitch. Anything 8th generation or newer is going to be just fine. You may have to make some changes to BIOS settings to get it to be compatible. So in other words, when you try to install it, it may say there are things that are missing. Those are just software changes. You're not missing any hardware. Brad says, I use Bitcoin as a hedge and a portable world-recognized currency that the IRS doesn't know I have, and one that I can keep on a flash drive or on my phone or my wallet. If you handle your crypto properly, that can be true. If you make the crypto has to get to the wallet somehow. The thing that makes it IRS anonymous, guys, this is one of the things a lot of people are like, Bitcoin is anonymous, criminals use it. Anybody can create a wallet online right now and transfer money to it. Just like anyone can go to Walmart and buy a leather wallet and stick $100 in it and hand it to somebody. The IRS has no idea that happened, right? But eventually, when we go to central bank digital currency, which is what's happening, it's going to happen. That's going to be the cashless society, because it's all going to be crypto. When that happens, and it's not going to happen overnight, guys. It's going to be kind of like how credit cards have done it. Credit cards have been conditioning us to do this for a while, right? You know, I know at Schrock, we don't get a ton of cash transactions. I love cash transactions. I love them, but we don't get a lot of them. Most people use credit cards, even if it's a small amount. They use a credit card or a debit card. Bought a cup of coffee this morning, used my BlockFi card when I earned me some Bitcoin on that. But I used a card, right? So that's leaving a trail of everything I've ever spent money on. Well, what makes crypto anonymous is when you have a wallet you've created and a different wallet that you did not own sent crypto to that wallet. So if you go to Coinbase and you buy crypto from Coinbase and you send that money to a wallet, Coinbase is going to report to the IRS that you sent $1,000 of crypto. So all the IRS has to do is go back on the blockchain. The blockchain is a permanent history of every financial transaction ever made. That is public. Anybody can look at it. If you know the sending wallet address and the receiving wallet address, or either one of those, I can look at your sending wallet address from Coinbase and I can see who has he ever sent any crypto to. Here's a list of all the addresses. This one's a dead end, and these all went somewhere else. That's his cold storage wallet. Got it. Where's that wallet sent money to? Oh, these criminal organizations. We know these wallets are associated with criminal activity. It's the same thing. We know these account numbers are associated with criminal activity. This account number sent something to the Caymans, then the Caymans sent something to these accounts. It's the same thing. It is completely traceable. Unless you are absolutely perfect about how you handle it and get like some squib on the internet to send you money that doesn't know who you are and you don't know who they are, and then you have a weird transaction coming into a random wallet, then you could run that through 10 or 12 wallets and launder it, and then end up with another wallet somewhere else that was passed through a legitimate business. And, you could go all day long. The IRS does not easily know you have that money, but please do not be under the mistaken impression that you can hold crypto in a wallet and keep it anonymous forever. Because the moment you make a transaction on that wallet, the moment you do that, you built a history. It's a permanent history. It never goes away. You've associated two wallets. Oh no, how do I undo that? Any wallet you send it to at this point will be associated. Any exchange you send it to, well, when you withdraw from the exchange, will be associated. So how do people in China do it then without China knowing about it? They use a distributed exchange, a DApp. So yes, don't use a normal exchange, use a DApp. Then it gets a lot tougher. You can still trace it, but it gets a lot tougher. All right. I know I ended up back on Bitcoin again. I try not to do that because there's some people who just don't want to hear about it. All right. Larry King's desk mic was the only thing that he got from the divorce with his fourth or fifth wife. I didn't realize he was divorced that many times. I had no idea. Do you see the article about cities in the U.S. having their own crypto? Quite a few are doing it. Yeah, the Miami coin has made Miami a bunch of money, $7 million or something. And it's a token, basically. It's just a token. It's not currency. It's not money per se. It's a token. It's not the first time. People have been making tokens forever. The Trans-Mississippi Expo is a great example. There were tokens for that. Banks have made tokens that are good for exchange of services or payment of fees for a long time. The green stamp books that my grandma used to have, where you go to the drugstore and you bring in your book and you could have like a page full of green stamps and you hand it in and you get like 50 cents of store credit. That's a cryptocurrency, but done with paper stamps. It's the same thing. So this is a loyalty program, basically. It's been around forever. But putting it on the blockchain makes it so much better because you can do a lot with it then. But anyway, let me see. The last thing that I've got on the agenda that I need to mention today is that the computers as a service idea that we still need to name. And we're going to have to come up with some nonsense name for it. We can't call it like, the Schrock plan or something. It's got to be something like nonsensical, like flibberjibber. Yes, if you're a flibberjibber customer, you can flibberjibber your way all the way to flibberjibber. Maybe we'll just call it that. We'll just call it code name flibberjibber. But the idea here is instead of buying a computer and owning it forever or until it's obsolete, you buy your computer as a service. So you pay a fixed amount every month, whether that's $35, $45 a month. Depends on the kind of computer you get. More expensive computers cost more than cheaper ones. But $25, $30 a month is probably going to be the entrance level for something like this. You have like a 2.5 year term, something like that. And at the end of the term, you can literally just turn the computer back in. And you could just start a new term with a new computer. And you never have to go through that. You never have to go through what everyone's going through right now with Windows 11, where their computers that they just bought a year and a half ago are obsolete. Yeah, you may not be able to upgrade to Windows 11 until the end of your term, but you only have 6 months to go. So stay on Windows 10 for another 6 months. All of the services are provided for you. Stay on there for 6 months. And when you're all said and done, then just turn it in and you'll get a Windows 11 computer. Easy peasy. So that idea is something that we have been wanting to do for a very long time. There's been a number of factors that have held us back from doing it. Some of those factors have been mitigated. Some of them are being mitigated. But one critical important step in the process is that we paid off the attorney to make the contract. So the contract is basically the agreement between us and customers that says this is how the plan works. And we had to strive to create a contract that is that protects everybody's interests, right? We know we're going to have some computers that walk away. We know we're going to have some people that come in and plunk down their deposit, which is like $100, and their first month, which is like $25, and they're going to walk out the door for $125 down with a $700 computer. Excuse me. Ooh, sorry. We know that's going to happen. And so we had to create a contract that will allow us to strike the absolute fear of the sweet baby Jesus in you if you do that to us. Of course, I don't want to be the mart. I don't want to be that. The Nebraska Furniture Mart is known to be a dogged collector of debts. They don't screw around. They collect the debts. They'll take your firstborn. They'll take whatever, a limb, an arm, a leg, whatever they need to do to get the job done. And I know, Mart lawyers, you're not actually taking people's body parts. I understand that. But what I'm saying is that when people don't pay for their furniture, the Mart doesn't screw around. As a result, a lot of people have very strong opinions about the Mart. Sometimes these people are people who just don't pay their bills. Sometimes these are people who have unfortunate situations. Sometimes these are people who simply forgot to pay, like their credit card got fraud hit and they didn't pay, and all of a sudden their credit's marred because they were a month late with the mart. And they're like, what the hell, guys? It was like 2 days late. Sorry, you're late. Late's late. You know, we don't want to do that. We don't want to cause people who want to do business with us to have negative associations with us. So how do we get around this? We create a contract that is so lucratively attractive to debt collection attorneys that we can sell it to them to get the money back that the customer owed us, and then they can go collect 3 times as much off that customer that didn't pay their bill. And it's not us, it's the attorney. You can't pay us, we sold the debt. We don't want to deal with it, we don't have time for that. We want to help the customers that we can help. So anyway, we had to deal with that. That was a lawyery thing. That was hard to do because there's laws and stuff that's about what you can and can't do and what you can and can't say, and I have no idea. So I wrote up, this is what I want to achieve, and they wrote me a nice, big, long legal contract. So there is a contract. Oh, I got a yawn. Oh boy, get tired. There's a contract that you would have to sign to be a part of it, but basically if you pay your bills, it's not a big deal. The contract also protects you guys. It tells you exactly what Schrock is giving you for your monthly payment. You know, you're getting a free maintenance checkup annually. You're getting safe upgrades. You're getting a Schrock desk subscription all the time. Thrown in, there's no charge for that. No $30 a month. You're getting extended warranties for the entire time you own the computer. You will never pay to repair a part in that computer. We will fix it for free always. I mean, literally, there's some huge advantages to doing this. So anyway, we're going to roll that out probably. We have to get the website speeded up first because it was slow. Alfonso's been exclusively working on that. Now that that's out of the way, he'll be able to go in and start working on coding this up because this is a really complex thing to code when you start thinking about the details because we have our 6 base computers, but you can modify them, right? So we can't just say it's this much per month for an Endeavor because you could modify the Endeavor. You could put a better processor in it, put a backup hard drive in it, put more memory in it. There's all kinds of things you could do to it. So you could put a monitor with it. You could put a printer with it. You could put a keyboard and mouse with it. Speakers. We don't know what you're going to do with it. And your payment is the total amount financed. So we had to come up with a formula, right? So now the formula will tell us what the monthly payments will be. So the formula needs to be coded onto the website so that when we select the payment method, it'll automatically calculate what your deposit is, how much the deposit is, which is 20% of the computer purchase price, what the monthly payment is, which I forget, it's like some single-digit percentage of the computer price, and the term, which I believe, if I remember right, is 26 months, is the minimum term. There's no reason to sign up for a longer term because at the end of the contract, at month 27, you can just keep paying and keep using the computer. Or you can come in and trade it in for a new computer whenever you like. There's no rush. Take your time. So anyway, that's the idea. We're hoping to have that out. Oh, I did not get enough sleep last night, guys. I'm sorry. I'm running on some short sleep today. This is me drinking coffee and I'm yawning like this. But we're looking at rolling that out first quarter next year. All righty, let's see. Ronald, coded question. If someone leases a computer from you, will there be a problem if they load software on it that you might be concerned about where it came from? No, this is the beautiful thing. It's not our computer. We're not monitoring what you're doing with the computer. It is your computer. If you have Sophos on there, we'll monitor the security status of the computer for you. But no, if you're installing questionably sourced software on the computer, we didn't do it. We're not facilitating you doing it. In fact, I officially, honestly, in all seriousness, Ronald, I officially warn you against doing it because one of the leading ways you can get a ransomware infection is by using a key generator for stolen software. Something that gets you an activation key for free. Almost all of those key gens are ransomware droppers that drop it on your computer and then it sits on your network until it finds something valuable. Then it encrypts everything. So it can sit there for a year before you even know it's there. So if you have Sophos installed on the computer and you try to install a keygen, it's going to delete it. So Sophos will actually try to protect that and stop that from happening. So anyway, no, we don't care what you're doing with the computer. You could be printing Let's Go Brandon shirts, You could say bad man orange shirts. We don't care. It's your computer. We're in the business of providing you with technology. You do what you want with your technology. We're not here to police what you do with it. That's Facebook's job. I use the AT&T Next program to get a new iPhone every year. The old one is returned, and I begin a rental on the new iPhone. Yeah, it's basically the same thing, Eileen, except cheaper. Those are expensive plans, but they do work nice if you want a new phone every year. I try to get mine every couple years, but this year I was really I did one this year. I jumped this year because I'm worried that next year I won't be able to because of the chip shortage. How will the release work for people who own their legal software they want on the computer? Do they have to coordinate through you first? Will the security software still handle that software? People who own their own legal... Oh, no, like I said, it's your computer, Ronald. You can install anything you want on it. So when you buy it from us, if you have a copy of Microsoft Office, well, when you get the computer home, or we can help you do it, we can do a data transfer onto the computer. We'll log it into a Microsoft account. It is your computer. And then when you're done using it and you turn it back in, it stops being your computer. And we can transfer the data to a new computer, or we can wipe the data for you, or whatever you want us to do. It's literally that easy. It's computers as a service. And then the idea here is, guys, the reason this was tricky, our entire business is built on service. Our entire business is built on selling hours of labor and components. And yes, we do computers and data recovery and all these other ancillary things, but when you get down to the nuts and bolts of what we do, it's fixing broken things. So here we are offering you a product that you're never going to have to pay to fix. Well, there's no free lunch, right? So obviously the price of what we're selling needs to exceed what we would have made on repairs, right? Well, here's the other side of the argument. The industry that we're in is changing. And the pace of technological innovation is moving faster. It is getting harder and harder and harder to design computers that are going to last you 10 years for a holiday special. It's getting really hard to do. This year was phenomenal. This year, I'm going to take a victory lap when we launch this thing because, yeah, it was a flippin' nightmare to get done. But we pulled some absolutely beautiful chungus out of our hat. I mean, chungus means rabbit. Pulled these rabbits out of our hats like, oh, wow, look at that one. You're going to be stunned with what we came up with this year. But anyway, the long and the short of it is you can do anything you want. Legal software, illegal software, you can buy crypto, you can trade stocks, you can be politically active. We don't care. And our security software only monitors for viruses and basically activity that's going to harm you or your data. It stops you from making stupid mistakes. And it stops bad guys who would take advantage of people who make stupid mistakes. Clicking on email links they shouldn't click on, or clicking on pop-ups that come up on the screen. Things like that. It stops that stuff from happening. Secure Updater, keeps all your third-party software up to date. That runs just fine with it. Drive Advisor lets us know if the hard drive is failing. Really important if you don't have to pay to fix it, right? Hey, we need to put a hard drive in that. Get that in here now. And we'll fix it for free. And if we can transfer your data, we will. So we're a service business, and there'll be opportunities for us to give service still, but we're changing our model a little bit. Because just like in the beginning, when I saw 23 years ago that there is a hole here where people are being treated like garbage when they call a computer repair store, treated like an idiot, like they don't know anything. Right now, you're being treated like garbage by Microsoft, who says you have to buy a new computer if you want to run Windows 11. And yes, it's a safer operating system. And yes, it's cheaper to run Windows 11. But a 7th gen Intel processor can run Windows 11 just fine with virtualization and all the security upgrades. So why did you make it so a 3-year-old computer can't run it, but a 2-year-old computer can? Well, it was obviously to sell more computers. Microsoft gets $100 for every computer that's sold. They want to sell computers. That's what this is about. Wouldn't it be nice to get out of that grinder? So yeah, are we going to sell fewer safe upgrades because our customers who have our leased computers get it for free? Because you have a Schrock Desk subscription. You can just call us and ask us to upgrade you over the phone because you have a Schrock Desk subscription. So why would you buy it? You could buy it, I guess, but why would you? You know, these are things that when we work through the logic of how this is going to work, we realize this is going to save our customers. This is one of those weird instances where our customers are going to save a ton of money. And in the long run, by long run I mean after the initial 2-year period, we actually make a lot of money. Up front, it costs us a lot of money because a lot of lost repairs, you know, a lot of stuff that we're not getting, extended warranties we're not selling that you're not using, you know, things like that. Hardware that we're having to put in for free because we've provided free warranties. So there's a lot of upfront costs, but at the end of the day, you're going to save a ton of money and we're going to make more money after a 2-year period. And better yet, this positions Schrock Innovations to be successful for the next 10 years. Because in our industry, you're always, I mean, the world is full of computer repair shops that are single guy, IT guy gets fired from a company. Screw this, I'm doing my own thing, puts a shingle out, I'm a computer repair guy, and he's the biggest jerk in the world, and he doesn't understand marketing or accounting or anything else, but you call him to fix your computer because he's smarter than you, because he's obviously smarter than you, because he tells you he's smarter than you. That's the world that Schrock was made to fix. Now the world has changed. Anybody can put up a nice website now. You can go online and buy a marketer on Fiverr for $10. Accountants are easy to do. You can get QuickBooks, Quicken. There's a lot of tools available. FreshBooks. You know, all this stuff can be sourced now. So now that computer guy, his objective is to create a massive number of subscribers so that he can add all these subscribers to his security software for his managed service provider. He should never have to talk to any of you if everything works right, but you're going to pay him every month. That's the way the model, the world is going, the subscription world is going. And Schrock needs to go there too, except we're not going to lose the thing that made us special in the beginning. We can't get rid of the service element to go to a full subscription, don't call us, we'll call you model. We still need to be there when customers need us. That's why the Schrock desk is in there. So that way, when you have a question, you can call us, and we have to have someone there to answer the question. So we need people. So yeah, could we sell the subscriptions for a couple dollars a month less if we didn't put the Schrock desk in it? Yeah, we could. Does that destroy a lot of the value for our customers? Yeah, it does. Will some customers choose the short-term path of saving $2 a month to destroy thousands of dollars of long-term value? They will. Are we going to let them do it? No. Sorry, no. You get the Schrock desk as part of this. It's just how it works. And and when you get to the point where you need it, you're so glad you have it. As opposed to, oh yeah, well, let me remote in and help that. So real quick, are you a Schrock desk subscriber? Well, I think I am. I got Sophos. Oh, Schrock desk is something different. Well, I have that secure updater thing. Schrock desk is something different. But I bought Safe Upgrade. Schrock desk is something different. Oh, something else I got to buy? Just having it, like, I know I have it. I don't pay for it. It's part of my subscription. It's a beautiful thing. It's going to be a transitional year as we do this, and we're probably not going to go full bore in. We're probably going to limit the number of, this is one of the things that we have to code for. We need to develop a waiting list. So for people who want to do this, we're going to get a list together, and then as we release, we're going to release a set number of computers every month that increases every month. That way, if we have a problem with the program, we detect it early before we put 1,000 computers out in the first month and say, oh God, what did we do? The first month it was only 20 computers, and the second month it was 40, and the third month it was 100, and so on and so forth, until we're at that point where we're saying, okay, we have a good rhythm here, all the people are trained up, everybody knows what's going on, and at some point, do we implement a credit check? Because we don't plan on doing that right now. We don't even plan on checking your credit. We just plan on you on basically a handshake deal where that you're going to pay us monthly and that we're going to provide you with award-winning service. And that's why we needed the really nasty contract, because some people are good on their word and some people are not. So you got to prepare for both. Alrighty, let's see. How will the lease work for people? Okay, we got that one. Sounds like you have it all locked down. Yeah, that was the point of getting the lawyers involved. That's why I had to spend $2,700 to have them write a contract. $2,700. But I hired really good lawyers. There is a new scam out there that gets you to answer yes on the phone. Do not say yes to a phone call. They get you started paying for things. Oh, they record your voice saying yes and then say, well, you said yes. The scam is, do you want to stop all robocalls? And you answer yes and they've got you. That's dumb. I think I recovered over my Sophos. Can you reinstall from Omaha? Yeah, we can definitely install Sophos remotely, Alan. That's easy. So yeah, we can do that over the Schrock desk. Will there be different options or different features of hardware? More RAM, for example? Yeah, actually. So this is one of the things that we think is really going to, this is one of the angles that works in our favor. Let's say you're going to buy the Endeavor, and the Endeavor comes with 8 gigs of RAM, but you really want 16 or 32. So how much is 32 gigs of RAM though? It's an extra $300. Oh, damn, the computer's only $700. I don't know if I want to spend $1,000. Okay, well instead, now it's only an extra $2 a month on your lease, basically, to get the extra memory. Oh, for $2 a month, hell yeah, I'll do that. That's only $24 a year for double the memory, triple the memory? Sure, that sounds great. Alan, 2 years and I can get rid of it? Perfect. The ability to sell higher dollar value computers, more accessories, more add-ons, better features, at a price that people can afford more easily because it's spread out over time, that is what is going to make this a big win for Schrock, because we're going to be able to expand our, the first 2 years are going to be rough because our cost of goods sold, we have to build all the computers. The costs of goods sold, if you understand anything about accounting, is how much you pay for stuff, the materials that go into your product. Our cost of goods sold is going to skyrocket, and we're going to be horribly unprofitable for 2 years, which we need for tax reasons right now. Yay! Then, after that, as the subscriptions are coming in on a regular basis, we've hit our break-even marks on the computers, and we start turning a profit on them all of a sudden. And then the cost of goods sold starts creeping down as we add subscriptions, and the existing subscriptions either renew or stay present or get new computers. It all works out. So we had questions like, how do we handle printers? Like, what happens if somebody's printer goes bad while they're under subscription? Well, then we got to give you a new printer. What happens if they run out of ink? Well, no, then you have to go buy your own damn ink, okay? Don't be cheap. What happens if they get a monitor? And when they trade in the computer, what if they just want to trade in the computer and they want to keep the monitor? Nope. You got to trade the whole enchilada in. So what are we going to do with all this equipment when they trade it in? Well, because we keep everything under warranty, some of it can be resourced. Like the processors, specifically things that don't wear out. But monitors, what are we going to do with the used monitors? No one, we're going to sell somebody a used monitor? Well, maybe we have a deal where a customer can buy out their computer or buy out a part of it. That's not in the contract currently. That would be an add-on special thing that happens later, especially for components that we don't have the ability to resell easily. So computer components resell easily for 50% of their face value online, whatever that current face value is. So 2 years from now, a processor that I paid $300 for, I'll probably be able to sell for $100. Unless the chip shortage is over, then it'd probably be $50. So, you know, we know in 2 years we'll be able to part these things down and sell the parts on eBay if we had to get rid of them. So the trouble with monitors and keyboards and mice and things like that, what happens if a customer damages their computer? But it's not their computer, you see. And they're expected to pay for it every month, but they dropped it and cracked the screen. Whose responsibility is it to fix that? It's the customer's responsibility to pay to fix the product that we own that they broke. Just like if you broke your Cox cable converter, you got to pay to get a new converter. You don't get a free converter from Cox because you broke the first one. Now, what happens if it's a power surge? What happens if it's, lightning strikes the house and the computer starts smoking? What happens then? Well, then that would be covered under our normal warranty, an extended warranty, so it would be covered. So the only thing that's not covered is virus damage and physical damage. Well, how do you prevent virus damage? You get Sophos. That gives you a virus warranty as well. How do you prevent physical damage? You don't throw your computer. You don't punch your computer. You don't drop it down the stairs. You don't write on it with a Sharpie. It's not your computer. Literally, it's not your machine. It's your machine, but you don't get to keep it. See where I'm going? But we don't really care about the exteriors. If you wanted to write on it with a Sharpie, you could. It wouldn't bother me a bit. Because the exterior cases aren't worth anything. After somebody's had it in their house for 2 years, nobody wants that anyway. Do we start a Schrock certified refurbished program? We don't really do used computers right now. Do we start doing used computers? How would that fit into it? Do we even want to go there? So there's a lot of angles, but that's 2 years down the line or 28 months down the line. We can figure all that out when the time comes. In the meantime, the main objective we have is making sure we're delivering good value to our customers, that we're generating revenue, albeit in the first 2 years it won't be enough revenue to cover all the expenses, but we want to make sure we have enough bankrolled capital so that we can cover those expenses and make that investment so that 2 years from now, when it suddenly becomes really profitable, that you guys are sitting back and enjoying getting a brand new computer for nothing, for free, and we can sit back and say, now we're enjoying the profits of the investment we made. Isn't that the definition of good capitalism, where everybody walks away from a deal feeling like they got a great deal? That's the essence of a good deal, right? When you walk away from the car dealership, like, I got that car for a steal, and the car dealership's like, we made a bunch of money on that car. Everybody's happy, and that's what you want to have. So anyway, let's see. With that said, let's go. I want to do this, but I want to do this. I need to get a new computer. Well, like I said, we're going to have a window in the first quarter before we do the ultimate upgrade that we can try to launch this. We don't know if we're going to couple it with the ultimate upgrade yet. It would make for a very inexpensive ultimate upgrade. 20% of a $500 computer, so what, $100 down, and then I think is it 4%? I think it's 4% per month. So 0.04 times 500, and a monthly payment of $20. I mean, $20. $20. So you put $100 down, and your first month is so for $120 you walk out the door with an ultimate upgrade. That could be a thing. It could be a thing. It just depends on how well it's going. If we launch it early and we get to that point where we're willing to do more than a set number of computers, because like I said, the first 2 years we lose a lot of money. And so we only have so much capital set back to cover those losses. So we have to kind of slow roll it in the beginning a little bit. And then that means 2 years from now, it'll slow roll into profitability for us. So we won't have this like sudden cliff, which is kind of nice. All right, I got to get rolling, guys. Both, Deborah, laptops, desktops, special order computers, you name it. So you'd be able to come in and say, I want to get this particular HP. Now we're going to charge our price for it. So we have to mark up prices. We don't get the HPs any cheaper than you do necessarily, especially on a single order item. Like, let's say you wanted an all-in-one, and you come in, I want the all-in-one. This all-in-one HP, it's a 32-inch curved screen and the whole bit. It's $1,000 at Best Buy. Well, we're going to charge you $1,100, $1,200 for it because, we're going to go buy it at Best Buy, I guess, because it's exclusive to Best Buy. But then we'll do a computer leasing program with you, and at the end of the leasing program, you bring the computer back to us, but you pay 4% of $1,200 every month plus the 20% deposit. So there you go, $240 deposit, and I don't know what, $40 a month with no interest. It's not a bad deal, So there's all kinds of possibilities. In the beginning, it's just going to be Schrock builds, though. It's going to be a Schrock exclusive program for our main lines. It's not going to include the holiday special this year for sure. Whether or not we include computer specials on it in the future, it just depends on how well it goes and how it's received. I don't know how many people are actually interested in doing this. It is a smoking good deal. But all the same, if you just want to buy a computer, if you're the kind of person, I don't want to rent things, I don't want a monthly payment, I just want to buy it, well, we're happy to just sell it to you, just like we're happy to sell it to you today. So it's not like that's going away. But I think going forward in the future, as people begin to see that the cost of ownership on this device is much lower because of all the extra services that you're bundled in with it, that people are going to make the decision. Because it's not like you can't decide to buy a computer later. I mean, you can buy a computer anytime you want. At the end of the term even, you can just say, I'm done, I want to buy a computer. What this does is, from a business perspective, more business terms, right now people have a barrier to entry. When you buy a new computer, it's a lot of money up front. There's a barrier to entry. We're taking that barrier away and putting it at the end. So now to get out of the Schrock leasing program, you got to buy a computer from somebody. That's a lot of money. So wasn't it just easier to keep leasing? See what we did there? So anyway, that's the businessy stuff. All right, guys. Can we get on a waiting list for the lease program? There will be a waiting list, but we haven't coded it yet because Alfonso's been busy building the super fast Schrock website before I send a whole bunch of people there to join a waiting list. So when the time comes, we will, the waiting list will probably ask you generic questions. Of course, we'll ask your name. You'll have a Schrock account on the website because you'll have to register on the website to register for the leasing program. But we'll probably ask you what computer you're interested in. And then we have our 3 desktop and 3 laptop models. We're not going to go into details like what kind of modifications do you want, or you want monitors, things like that. We just want to get a general idea. Like, do most people who are interested in the leasing program, are they mostly interested in leasing cheap computers? Or are they more interested in leasing the expensive computers? That's going to help us understand how many computers we can release, number one. Number two, it's going to help us understand purchase decisions because we know when people buy computers, everybody buys the middle of the road computer pretty much. Pretty much. Everyone buys an Intrepid or everyone buys an Endeavor. Depends on desktop, laptop, that's the one they buy. Some people buy the Venture that need more juice. And some people buy the Boundless when they want to buy a cheaper computer for grandma. You know, but most people buy the middle one. So if we go to do the leasing program thing and on the waiting list, everyone says, for $4 more a month, I'll take a Venture, thank you very much. Well, then we know, number one, we better stock up on Venture parts. Number two, we know that this leasing program is going to result in an increase in our top line sales and we can tax plan appropriately. There's all kinds of reasons. So there'll probably be a quick questionnaire to get on the list and then you're on the list. But I have not even had a meeting with Alfonso to talk about creating a list yet because I want him totally focused on this website transition today. That's happening again, guys. If you're on the website today at 5:30, the Schrock website's going down Facebook style because it is getting replaced with a completely revamped hyperspeed website. Come back around 6:30 Central Time and your page loads. Like, go there now and load a couple pages and see how slow it is. And then come back later tonight and load a couple pages and you'll be like, ooh, I want this for my website. It is very nice. All right. Thank you, Gron. I appreciate it. Enjoyed having you guys here. I enjoy doing the show too. Got to roll though. I'm way past time and my voice is shot and I'm sneezing and coughing and I don't know, I'm going to pass out next. I don't know what's going to happen. But thanks for joining us. I appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back, of course, next Sunday for another edition of Compute This, another After Schrock. For those of you who want to get in on the liquidity mining crypto call, this is specifically for liquidity mining. It'll be a call. I will try to keep the presentation to a half an hour or less, which for me is always a challenge. And then that'll leave me about a half an hour for questions, which I'm sure there will be some questions. I'm expecting maybe 5-10 people show up for this. It shouldn't be a huge event. I do have a pro subscription, though, for... I've never set up a mass call before, so I might have to mute everybody. I don't know how that works. But anyway, we're going to do that call. I'm going to send an email, but I'm tentatively saying Monday morning, let's say 9 o'clock. That maybe we can do that with everybody. That'll give me time to get my daughter to school, get back to my desk, and get everything set up beforehand. But I'll send an email out later today, and if that doesn't work, let me know, and I'll reschedule and keep everybody in the loop. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great morning. We'll talk to you next weekend or maybe on Monday. We'll see.